copy provided by Sega and Atlus. Shin Megami Tensei 5 was originally released for the Nintendo Switch on November 11, 2021. While it was a visually stunning game for the Switch's hardware, the ambition of its open world and graphics took a toll on the performance of the game, failing to maintain a steady 30 FPS in a lot of situations. Now, after years of rumors and leaks, SMT5 finally comes to other platforms as Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, an enhanced version of the original game with almost 80 hours of new content and various quality of life improvements. So, how does the Steam port of the game run on Valve's Steam Deck? Let's find out. Before we start, let me say that I'm not reviewing the entire game. I'm reviewing SMT5 Vengeance's PC port on the Steam Deck, nothing more. The game is fantastic in every single way, and you should all try it out on a platform of your own choosing. Also, all footage that you see was recorded directly from my Steam Deck, running the game at default settings at 720p unless otherwise noted. Sit back, relax, and let's get it on. As I stated before, Shin Megami Tensei 5 was a very ambitious title for the Nintendo Switch hardware. The open world area of Dot would always make the console struggle, failing to maintain its 30 FPS target most of the time. The game's cutscenes also ran poorly, as some would make the game dip down to around 20 FPS. I'm happy to report that SMT5 Vengeance runs like an absolute dream on the Steam Deck. The game can keep a steady frame rate in most areas, whether you're aiming for 40Hz mode or 60 FPS at 800p. That goes for both regular gameplay and cutscenes. However, the sheer magnitude of the open world can take a toll on your Steam Deck's battery. If you want to keep the game running at 60 FPS, the Deck's battery will clock in around 24 watts most of the time, giving you around 2 to 2.5 hours at most of gameplay. However, if you aim for the Deck's 40Hz display mode, the wattage goes significantly down to around 15 watts and will give you around 3 to 3.5 hours of gameplay depending on the areas. If you're looking to play on an external screen at 1080p however, you won't be looking at a smooth 60 FPS. But since this is a turn-based JRPG, you can turn down the frame rate to 30 FPS and still have a solid experience. All in all, I think SMT5 Vengeance runs great on the Steam Deck. You may see a few dips here and there, but you can always lower the quality from 1280 by 800 to 1152 by 720 to get a little bit more performance out of the system, and to my experience, the game pretty much stays almost at a solid 60 FPS the entire time, and I highly recommend it. Shin Megami Tensei 5 can be a very visually impressive game on the Steam Deck's 800p screen. The world of Dot is beautiful, and you'll be able to experience a lot of the game without a ton of annoying pop-in like on the Switch version. While the visuals can look great, I'm sad to say that the game does not support 16:10 aspect ratio officially. Even if you set the game at a 1280 by 800 resolution, you still get black bars on the top and the bottom of the deck screen since the game was made with a 16:9 aspect ratio in mind. However, there has been an ultra widescreen fan patch release that can make the image fit the Steam Deck's 16:10 screen and run at a native 800p. Just know there are a few hiccups, such as some UI menus not displaying properly, but it's a good way to experience the game on Steam Deck's full screen. The game also doesn't have the best comprehensive list of visual configurations either. Some settings such as motion blur, ambient occlusion, and anti-aliasing are there, but they're simple on and off toggles. There's no texture options, no depth of field settings, there's also no option to turn on HDR. Everything is pretty much straightforward. In most instances, that would be a bad thing, but thankfully, the game was built with Nintendo Switch's hardware in mind, so it's not very demanding. Still, it would have been nice to include these options to maybe get a little boost of performance, especially for these on the OLED Deck's 90Hz display. All in all, I still think that SMT5 Vengeance looks great on the Steam Deck screen, especially on the OLED where the colors really pop even though there's no HDR, and so you will see it's not like the best visually looking game ever, but on the Deck's small screen and for the world itself, I think it looks great and it's a sight to behold. The original Shin Megami Tensei 5 is one of my favorite games of all time. After spending some time with its re-release on Valve's hardware, I can confidently say that the Steam Deck is an incredible way to experience Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance's story. The power of this portable machine makes the graphics look great and makes the game run like a dream. Even if the game isn't tailor-made for the Steam Deck's display, this is still the best way to play this JRPG if you want portability. And coming in at a whopping 150 plus hours of content, there's a huge chance you don't want to play the game straight from your couch the entire time. If you have a Steam Deck, this is an absolute must-buy for the platform. You won't regret it. So that's it, guys. That's my review of Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance on the Steam Deck. What did you guys think about my review? Are you going to grab it on Steam and play it on your Steam Deck? Leave a comment down below. If this video has helped you, give it a like and subscribe for more Atlas content. I'll see you guys in the next video. King out.